I'm Ada, the co-commentator, and it's good to see you, Hal.
Here we go, folks. The atmosphere is electric as the drivers prepare to unleash their machines on the track at Monza 1966 full-course OSRW for the qualifying session.
This is where champions are made, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
There are just over 40 minutes left in this qualification session. And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Lech Mansky. You can feel the tension building. GALAXYSUPERSTAR is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time. This is what it's all about. Jenkwit is putting on a show for the fans in this qualifying session.
They certainly are. This is shaping up to be a great performance by Jenkwit.
Kulik is on their first flying lap. It's all about precision and speed in qualifying, and Jenkwit is nailing both.
Yes, they are. It takes a special kind of driver to thrive under this kind of pressure.
There are just over 35 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 35 minutes left in this qualification session. Woohoo! Kulik is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go.
It's amazing what a little.
And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Lech Mansky. The adrenaline is pumping. Igor Strensky is on their out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time. It's all about strategy in these early moments. Antonio Tridi is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right.
These are the moments that really matter. Let's see if Antonio Tridi can deliver.
It looks like Igor Strensky is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those tires and get everything just right.
This is the moment they've been preparing for. Let's see if they can execute.
Patrick Goldbach looks to be off the pace. Ada, what do you think they need to do to improve?
Good question, Hal. It's all or nothing now. They need to stay focused, hit their marks, and extract every ounce of performance from that car to move up the grid.
There are just over 30 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 30 minutes left in this qualification session. GALAXYSUPERSTAR is on their out lap. Someone call the fire department, because Patrick Goldbach is setting this track on fire with their performance.
Is it just me or does it feel like we're watching a superhero in action here?
Patrick Goldbach is absolutely smashing it. Wow, look at Yeager Strensky go. They're really turning on the jets in this qualifying session.
Let's see if they can put a good marker down.
Malero is not as quick as they were hoping for. Ada, any thoughts on what they need to do?
They'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
Janquid looks to be off the pace. Ada, what do you think they need to do to improve?
Every driver needs something different, Hal. Some drivers excel when they push harder, while other drivers benefit more from relaxing and being in a flow state.
Kulik is not as quick as they were hoping for. Ada, any thoughts on what they need to do?
Good question, Hal. It's all or nothing now. They need to stay focused, hit their marks, and extract every ounce of performance from that car to move up the grid.
You can feel the tension building. Octavio 67 is out on track and getting ready to push for their qualifying time. I don't know about you, but I think Costo might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast.
Well, Hal, it seems like Costo has got the need for speed and nothing is going to stop them now.
There are just over 25 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 25 minutes left in this qualification session. Robbie looks to be off the pace. Ada, what do you think they need to do to improve?
Well, Hal, they'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed through the corners.
Looks like Costo is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there. I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Malero going at lightning speed.
I think we might need to start calling Malero the Flash after that incredible lap time.
Someone call the fire department, because Costo is setting this track on fire with their performance.
Looks like Costo is really cooking with gas out there today.
Time to bring out the marshmallows and let's toast some fuel. Woohoo, Yeager Strensky is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go. I don't know about you, but I think Malero might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast. There are just over 20 minutes left in this qualification session. It's clear that Octavio 67 is on a mission in this qualifying session. They're pushing their car to the limit. The pressure is on in this qualifying session, but Ben is rising to the occasion. Looks like Costo is and that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Lech Mansky. I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Malero going at lightning speed. Woohoo, Kulik is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go. This is where the mental game comes into play. Merlin is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run. There are just over 15 minutes left in this qualification session. I don't know about you, but I think Octavio 67 might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast. Someone call the fire department, because Benjamin is setting this track on fire with their performance.
It's amazing what a little bit of adrenaline and a lot of horse.
And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Lech Mansky. I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Antonio Tridi going at lightning speed. Looks like Octavio 67 is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Woohoo, Antonio. And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Lech Mansky. Someone call the fire department, because Octavio 67 is setting this track on fire with their performance. I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Adam Keefe going at lightning speed. Looks like Antonio Tridi is channeling their inner Schumacher today. They're absolutely flying out there. Woohoo, Adam Keefe is really turning up the heat out there. I'm getting goosebumps just watching them go.
Well, Hal, it seems like Adam Keefe has got the need for speed and nothing is going to stop them now.
Someone call the fire department, because Yiger Strensky is setting this track on fire with their performance.
I think we might need to start calling Yiger Strensky the Flash after that incredible lap time.
I don't know about you, but I think Ben might have a secret rocket booster hidden in their car. They're just that fast. I think I just saw a blur fly by. Oh wait, that's just Yiger Strensky going at lightning speed. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. It's all about strategy in these early moments. Mate Mixik is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run and get everything just right.
Patience is key in these early moments, Hal, but I have a feeling Mate Mixik is going to make it count.
Kulik is not as quick as they were hoping for. Ada, any thoughts on what they need to do?
They'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
Not the ideal start for Merlin in this qualifying session. Currently in 11th position, they'll be eager to put together a strong final lap to improve their standing. The pressure is on, and they'll need to deliver their best performance. A challenging session for Nick Hill so far. And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Lech Mansky. It hasn't been the best qualifying session for Merlin so far. They find themselves in 11th position, which is not where they had hoped to be. However, there's still time left on the clock, and they have the opportunity to make improvements.
You're absolutely right, Hal. Merlin is currently facing a challenging situation, but they have the skills and experience to tackle it head-on. They'll need to stay focused, trust in their abilities, and push themselves to the limit to turn things around.
A tough outing for Mate Miksik in qualifying today. They currently sit in 15th position, which is far from ideal. However, there's a chance for them to regroup, analyze their data, and make some adjustments to their setup to improve their result.
I share your thoughts, Hal. Mate Miksik is facing a setback in this qualifying session, but they have the resilience to bounce back. They need to stay positive, work closely with their engineers, and find the optimal strategy to make progress.
Impressive display by Merlin, currently sitting in position 10. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position. It's been a challenging session for Nick Hill. They're currently languishing in 12th position, which is not where they had envisioned themselves. But in motorsport, anything can happen, and with their skill and determination, they might still turn things around.
You're absolutely right, Hal. Nick Hill might be disappointed with their current position, but there's still time to make a difference. They'll need to remain composed, analyze the data, and push themselves to the limit to improve their qualifying result.
It's been a challenging day for Mate Miksic in qualifying. They currently sit in 15th position, which is not reflective of their true potential. With the session nearing its end, they'll need to push hard and extract every ounce of performance to improve their result.
Absolutely, Hal. Mate Miksic is facing a challenging situation, but they have the skill and determination to turn things around.
And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Lech Mansky. Disappointing performance from Yiger Strensky in this qualifying session. Currently in 11th position, they'll need to dig deep and find some extra speed to climb up the leaderboard and secure a better starting position for the race.
You're spot on, Hal. Yiger Strensky has had a tough time in this qualifying session, but they shouldn't be counted out just yet. With their experience and the support of their team, they might find the extra speed needed to move up the grid.
Jenquist has secured a respectable 10th in the qualifying session. This is a great spot to use as a launchpad for a strong race performance. Not the ideal start for Yiger Strensky in this qualifying session. Currently in 11th position, they'll be eager to put together a strong final lap to improve their standing. The pressure is on, and they'll need to deliver their best performance.
I couldn't agree more, Hal. Yiger Strensky is facing a tough challenge, but they are known for their fighting spirit. This qualifying session is a test of their character, and I believe they have what it takes to overcome this setback.
You've joined us on a breezy day here at Monza 1966 Full Course OSRW, as we're getting ready to get things underway. Lining up in second is Benjamin Nash. Starting from the third position on the grid, we have Adam Keefe.
I think we are all looking forward to seeing what Adam Keefe can do from here.
As the green flag drops, keep an eye on Robbie starting in fourth position.
The British driver will be focused on a good result from here.
Securing the fifth place is Patrick Goldbach.
They are in a good place to mount a good challenge come the first corner.
Malero will be looking to gain ground quickly as they start from sixth on the grid.
That Lotus Type 25 looks like it has some potential.
Green flag, green flag.
Maintaining a safe distance while still pushing for position is a delicate balance. Experience and composure will be vital in these opening moments.
Seems like Octavio 67 has gotten bogged down at the start, and has already lost positions, Ada.
It's gonna mean more work for them, but they should be able to recover. It's early days yet, Hal.
Every lap is an opportunity for Patrick Goldbach to learn just a little bit more to shave a few tenths or hundredths off their times.
The race isn't won in the first turn, but there have been plenty that have ended there, Hal.
As the tires come up to temp, their available grip is changing, and the drivers that manage this transition best are likely to make progress through the field. Someone get Octavio 67 a strong coffee, as it looks like they have been caught dozing from the get-go. The team won't be pleased with that start, relinquishing places already. Merlin will be studying the nearby drivers and looking for anything that could give them an advantage.
It's always intense racing here at Monza 1966 full course OSRW. Hold on to your hats, folks.
Yeager Strensky is tearing up the track, making up positions like they're going out of style. We got a close battle as Octavio 67 closes in on Patrick Goldbach.
If Octavio 67 isn't careful, they might end up turning this high-speed chase into a synchronized spinning routine, and trust me, that's not a crowd pleaser.
Hold on to your hats, folks. Malero is right on the heels of Octavio 67, and we're in for a wild ride.
As an experienced driver, I can tell you that Malero must be laser-focused on Octavio 67's every move, looking for the slightest weakness to exploit.
Hold your breath, folks. These drivers are showing exceptional car control, threading the needle through tight corners. It's a battle for supremacy. What a tight spot for Merlin. They have Kulik right on their tail 0.1 seconds away, and Nash just inches away with a gap of 0.1 seconds. It's a true test of their racecraft.
I'm on the same page, Hal. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind provide valuable context to understand the challenges faced by Merlin. It's a constant juggling act, and they need to seize the right moment to gain an advantage.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
At this rate, Nash and Merlin are so close, they could share a cup of tea and a biscuit.
A setback for Nash, who has just been passed.
Yes, but there's still plenty of race left. Benjamin needs to stay calm and focused, and make their move when the time is right.
Things don't seem to be going Malero's way in this race, as that's a big gap they'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
They certainly aren't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from Mate Miksic.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Robbie is chasing Adam Keefe in P2. Things are heating up as Ben closes in on Merlin. The gap between them is down to practically nothing.
And it's not just about skill and talent. It's about who has the nerves of steel to handle the pressure and make the right decisions at the right time.
Wow, Costo is really pushing hard to catch up to Jenkley. There's blood in the water for 8th place. The pressure is on for Robbie as they try to catch up to Adam Keefe.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Robbie needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
Fantastic move from Robbie, who has just gained a position. Oh, this is getting intense. Merlin is just behind Nash.
The slightest mistake from either driver could lead to a meeting with the barriers, and nobody wants an impromptu autograph session with the wall.
This is what it's all about, folks. Costo is in hot pursuit of Jenkley, who's just trying to stay ahead.
It's a battle for position as Costo tries to make a move on Jenkley. This is what racing is all about.
That won't be ideal for Malero. It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other. The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
With the way Robbie is stalking Adam Keefe, you'd think they're trying to figure out what they had for breakfast this morning.
Hold on a second. Looks like that's a mistake from Mate Miksic. This could be costly. The gap between Adam Keefe and Robbie is razor thin as they vie for first in this nail-biting contest. The action is non-stop as Ben shadows Merlin through every twist and turn, determined to claim fifth.
They say rubbing is racing, but if Benjamin Nash gets too close, they might end up trading carbon fiber souvenirs instead of positions.
A brilliant maneuver from Benjamin Nash, who has just moved up the field.
That's what we like to see. Benjamin is really showing their class today.
Nick Hill wants to get into Patrick Goldbach's slipstream. Adam Keefe wants to close that gap with Robbie.
It looks like they have the speed to make a move. I just hope they have the patience to do it cleanly.
It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Adam Keefe gaining places and Robbie losing them. It's a brilliant day for racing, and the drivers are putting on a show.
Absolutely. What a great race we are witnessing today. These drivers are giving it their all, and it's a thrill to watch them compete at this level.
They're really pushing themselves and their machines to the limit, and it's paying off with some incredible driving.
It's a pleasure to be here today, Hal. You really can't beat the excitement of a good race, especially one as competitive as this.
Benjamin is running fifth. They are trying to catch Merlin.
I would not be surprised if they get this pass completed soon.
Great driving from Benjamin, who has just gained a place and moved up to fourth.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
Disappointing for Nash, they now find themselves in fifth. Costo is on a mission, chasing Jenkwit, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Costo is really walking that fine line.
Seems like Jenkwit is getting in range of Costo.
If you don't push the boundaries, you will never know where they are.
Patrick Goldbach could be looking for a way up the inside of Nick Hill.
There is no room for error in this battle.
Adam Keefe appears to be trying to find a way round Robbie. They could make a move on them in Retifilo Tribune. The battle for 4 is heating up as Benjamin tries to catch Merlin in P4. It's a thrilling pursuit as Jenkwit is right behind Costo, keeping the pressure on for 6th place. Hold on a second. Looks like that's a mistake from Mate Mixit. This could be costly. The adrenaline is pumping as Patrick Goldbach gets within striking distance of Nick Hill in their race for 8th. Adam Keefe is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
Every move counts now as Costo works to reel in Jenkwit and overtake for P6. What a move. Costo has moved up to 6th.
Impressive. Costo is really showing.
Hold on a second. Looks like that's a mistake from Mate Mixit. This could be costly. While Jenkwit is not under immediate threat from Antonio Tridi, they still need to stay focused and avoid any errors. Any slip-up could cost them their position. And Jenkwit has just lost the place to Antonio Tridi.
They've been focusing so hard on maintaining their position, and now they've slipped back in the field. Meanwhile, Antonio Tridi has been making some great moves and is now on the charge.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Malero will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. In racing, anything can, and usually does, happen, especially in such an epic showdown. And Robbie has just won the place from Adam Keefe.
Absolutely. Robbie is showing great pace and determination, but they can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
The intensity is off the charts as Adam Keefe hounds Robbie, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit.
Adam Keefe is so close to Robbie that if this were a dance floor, they'd be doing the tango.
As they speed through Rettifilo Tribune, Nick Hill is relentlessly pursuing Patrick Goldbach in a high-stakes battle for position.
If Nick Hill gets any closer to Patrick Goldbach, they'll need to start sending out wedding invitations.
It's a close race between Adam Keefe and Robbie in first. Adam Keefe needs to find some speed, or maybe get more consistent. Ada, they have just put in a slower lap than Robbie. As a former racing driver, Ada, how important is the relationship between a driver and their team during a race?
It's absolutely crucial, Hal. The team provides valuable information and support, helping the driver make the right decisions on track. A strong bond between the driver and the team can be the difference between winning and losing.
It's a game of inches now as Adam Keefe tails Robbie closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. The crowd is on its feet as Nick Hill chases down Patrick Goldbach through Curva Parabolica. Oh, this is getting intense. Adam Keefe is just a few car lengths behind Robbie. This is a thrilling battle as Nick Hill edges closer to Patrick Goldbach in their fight for P7.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Nick Hill needs to be careful not to overdo it.
A great moment for Nick Hill, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
You can't argue with results like that. Nick Hill is really making their mark on this race.
Let's talk about tire degradation. Ada, how does it affect the car's handling and what do drivers need to do to adapt to the changing conditions?
Tire degradation can significantly impact handling. How? As the tires wear, the grip reduces, and drivers need to adjust their braking points, cornering speeds, and throttle application to maintain control of the car.
Patrick Goldbach is looking for an opportunity to get round Nick Hill.
And they are poised to capitalize on any mistake. It's just a matter of who cracks first.
It's all about consistency for Antonio Tridi, who is currently ninth.
Definitely, Hal, but they can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep pushing hard to stay in the game.
Robbie is giving it their all as they chase down Adam Keefe in P1. It seems like Robbie is struggling. They are not able to maintain their pace.
Robbie needs to refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they are capable of.
The delta between Nick Hill in 8th and Patrick Goldbach remains over a second, but Nick Hill is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 10 minutes left in this session to make that happen. Rising to the occasion and claiming victory would help to cement this driver's legendary status.
A misjudgment by either driver could result in a close encounter of the tire barrier kind, and that's one handshake they'll want to avoid.
A great pass for Malero as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Jenquid has lost ground.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Malero needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
We got a close battle as Robbie closes in on Adam Keefe. Good news for Robbie, the gap to Adam Keefe has decreased. It's now down to 0.1 seconds. Well, it doesn't look like Jenquid is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Malero. Oh my, Robbie is hot on the tail of Adam Keefe. As they come into Soprevada Nord, I'm sure they may have a cheeky peek up the inside. Hold on to your hats, folks. Ben is right on the heels of Merlin, and we're in for a wild ride.
I remember being in a similar situation during my racing days. Ben must stay focused and wait for the perfect opportunity to overtake.
An impressive showing from Benjamin, who has gained positions and left Merlin in the dust.
Absolutely, Hal, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and Benjamin can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep driving with intensity and focus.
Oh dear, Nash has dropped down to 5th.
Definitely, but Benjamin is a skilled driver, and they have what it takes to fight back and regain that position.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. No room for error here. Nick Hill is breathing down the neck of Patrick Goldbach, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. Coming into Prima Curva di Lesmo, the fight for first is heating up. Neither driver wants to be the first to blink.
This is what makes motor racing so exciting. The tension is high and the stakes are even higher. I would not bet on either racer at this point, as it's too close to call.
The tension is building as Nick Hill trails behind Patrick Goldbach. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Patrick Goldbach is pushing to maintain the lead, while Nick Hill is working to close in and challenge for the position.
This is where experience comes into play. Patrick Goldbach has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but Nick Hill is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
Wow, Robbie is really pushing hard to catch up to Adam Keefe. There's blood in the water for first place.
It's a battle of nerves now. Robbie and Adam Keefe are both pushing hard, but need to avoid mistakes that might cost them time or positions.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
It's a game of strategy now as Ben hunts down Merlin. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
Things are heating up as Merlin closes in on Benjamin. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit. Superb driving from Patrick Goldbach, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. Patrick Goldbach has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Costo. I expect their only hope at this point is that first name makes an error. It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Nick Hill as they have a big gap ahead of them to close at this point in time.
It's not over till the checkered flag drops though, and it's important they don't lose concentration at this point.
It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while. Big gains for Merlin as they move up the field, leaving Benjamin Nash behind. Well, it looks like we have a bit of a traffic jam on the track.
It's like rush hour out there. I mean, I know we're in a race, but can't we all just get along?
You can wish all you want, but I don't think that's how racing works, Ada. These drivers are here to win, and they'll do whatever it takes to get ahead.
I guess you're right, but wouldn't it be great if they all just stopped for high fives and fist bumps?
Look at that, Benjamin is hot on the tail of Merlin.
You can see that car bouncing around as they ride the curbs. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
The race is really heating up. Robbie is hunting down Adam Keefe with everything they've got.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds. Can Robbie close that gap and get back in range? I can't see it happening at this point.
It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Robbie gaining places and Adam Keefe losing them. Tough break for Robbie, who has just lost a position.
Sucks to be them, Hal.
Looks like Benjamin is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about maintaining that fine line between speed and control. Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Benjamin should use slipstreaming to their advantage and close the gap to Merlin.
This is what high-octane racing looks like. Robbie is breathing down the neck of Adam Keefe, not giving them any room to relax.
It's going to be a close one. Robbie will have to push hard to create an opportunity.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Merlin in fifth chases after Benjamin Nash. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Merlin needs to find a way to close the gap.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Merlin in fifth determined to catch up. But we know Nash isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Merlin is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
It may seem like Merlin is far behind, but Benjamin Nash can't afford to let their guard down. One mistake could give Merlin an opening to catch up.
Surely they've got enough in the tank to pull away. Gonna be interesting to watch this battle unfold.
Merlin is on a mission, chasing Benjamin, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
The gap is 0.4 seconds now. Merlin is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Benjamin Nash.
It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other.
If Adam Keefe gets any closer, they might as well ask Robbie for a piggyback ride.
Things are heating up as Merlin tries to close the gap to Benjamin. It looks like Merlin is making a move. The gap to Benjamin Nash is now down to 0.1 seconds. The battle for one is heating up as Adam Keefe tries to catch Robbie in P1.
The gap between them is now just over 0.4 seconds.
Looks like that's a mistake from Antonio Tridi. This could be costly. A strong showing from Antonio Tridi, who is currently ninth.
Absolutely, and they need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
The adrenaline is pumping as Adam Keefe gets within striking distance of Robbie in their race for first.
This battle between Adam Keefe and Robbie is so intense, you could cut the tension with a knife, or should I say, with a front wing.
This is what it's all about, folks. Merlin is in hot pursuit of Nash, who's just trying to stay ahead. It's looking good for Merlin, who has gained places and put some distance between themselves and Benjamin Nash. We are used to seeing some hard-fought but clean racing here at ASRL. I'm expecting to see nothing different here today as this hold that thought. Hold the phone. A tough moment for Merlin, who has just lost a place, dumping them down to fifth. In racing anything can, and usually does, happen, especially in such an epic showdown. The gap between Benjamin Nash and Merlin is razor thin as they vie for fourth in this nail-biting contest. On the final lap now, and Robbie looks like they might just wrap up this win. The leader has just finished the race. A fantastic result for Robbie. What a fantastic race from Adam Keefe, who brings it home in second place. That was an outstanding performance from Octavio 67. They fought hard and took the final spot on the podium.
Great job bringing it home.
Benjamin Nash, Merlin, and Costo end in 4th, 5th, and 6th. Patrick Goldbach claimed 7th. Malero in 8th. Yiger Strensky take 13th. 9th sees Antonio Tridi. Followed by Jenquid in 10th. Taking 11th is Galaxysuperstar. Nick Hill brings home 14th. Finishing 12th is Mate Mixit. There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Monza 1966 full course OSRW, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The drivers are looking focused out there on the grid. I'm excited for this one, Hal.
It's Patrick Goldbach, sitting comfortably in second. Watch out for Nick Hill, starting from the third grid position in today's race. The fourth place on the grid belongs to Yiger Strensky, a driver with plenty of experience.
It's not always easy to get the Lotus Type 25 this high up the starting grid.
Galaxysuperstar is lining up fifth,
putting that Lotus Type 25 into prime position for the race.
Jenquid is placed, and that's the race underway. Some very quick reactions there.
This is where the driver's true abilities will be put to the test. Staying calm and collected while pushing for the lead is the ultimate challenge.
Mate Mixit is going to be doing some serious cursing after losing positions. I'm sure of that, Ada.
They've definitely made life harder for themselves, but there's still plenty of time to make up for that slow start, Hal.
Talk about a rough beginning. Nick Hill must feel like they've got the world's heaviest anchor attached to their car, dropping positions at the start.
Not the best of starts, but it happens. I expect Nick Hill won't be there for long.
It looks like Patrick Goldbach was channeling a sloth at the start, losing places as they crawled off the line. Kulik has nailed the start, gaining places early on. They should be pleased with that.
It's early days yet, but if they can keep up this momentum, they might just find themselves on the podium.
If this were a game of musical chairs, Antonio Tridi just lost their seat, dropping positions right from the start. There's some intense battling throughout the field as everyone is feeling out the drivers around them.
I'm looking forward to this one, Hal, and we'll see a return to form for Octavio 67 in this outing in Italy.
As they speed through Rettifilo Tribune, Costo is relentlessly pursuing Octavio 67 in a high-stakes battle for position. A brilliant maneuver from Costo, who has just moved up the field. Antonio Tridi seems to be putting the pressure on Costo.
If they get too close, they might end up taking the paint off.
Fantastic move from Antonio Tridi, who has just gained a position. Oh, the pressure is really getting to Antonio Tridi. They've just lost 12th spot to Costo and they need to regroup quickly.
Antonio Tridi really needs...
Breaking update. Looks like Antonio Tridi is coming into the pits early. Now is that to serve a penalty or have they picked up some damage during the start?
Well, races can be won or lost in the pits, but in this case it's all bad news for Antonio Tridi. It's going to be tough to come back from.
The pressure is on for Nick Hill as they try to catch up to Patrick Goldbach.
This is not going to be an easy pass to make.
What a move. Nick Hill has moved up to 4th.
Absolutely. Nick Hill is really putting on a clinic out there, and they're making it look easy.
Breaking update. Looks like Antonio Tridi is coming into the pits early. Now is that to serve a penalty or have they picked up some damage during the start?
Well, races can be won or lost in the pits, but in this case it's all bad news for Antonio Tridi. It's going to be tough to come back from.
Ben is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play. Benjamin is looking to close the 0.3 second gap and make a pass.
There's not much to report on from Octavio 67 at the moment. They're just keeping their head down and putting in consistent laps.
That's the mark of a good driver. Octavio 67 is staying focused on their own race and not getting distracted.
You know, Ada, I've always wondered, how do racing drivers stay so cool and collected under such immense pressure?
Well, how? It comes down to mental strength and training. Drivers often work with sports psychologists and practice techniques like meditation and visualization to help them stay calm and focused during high-pressure situations.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Jenqui trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Igor Strensky. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. A great moment for Jenqui, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
Yes, Jenqui is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
Oh, this is getting intense. Igor Strensky is just a few car lengths behind Jenqui. A great pass for Igor Strensky as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Jenqui has lost ground.
Yes, but Igor Strensky can't rest on their laurels. They have to keep pushing to consolidate their position.
You know, Ada, it's been a relatively quiet race so far.
That's right, Hal. The drivers seem to be pacing themselves and waiting for the right moment to make their move. It's like watching a slow dance.
The crowd is on its feet as Patrick Goldbach chases down Octavio 67 through Sopravada Sud. Great driving from Patrick Goldbach, who has just gained a place and moved up to 6th. Rising to the occasion and claiming victory would help to cement this driver's legendary status.
When I was racing, we had a saying, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Octavio 67 is definitely living on the edge today.
It's a thrilling pursuit as Patrick Goldbach is right behind Octavio 67, keeping the pressure on for 6th place. Superb driving from Patrick Goldbach, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. The action is non-stop as Octavio 67 shadows Patrick Goldbach through every twist and turn, determined to claim 6th. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Costo is chasing Octavio 67 in P7. GALAXYSUPERSTAR wants to find a way round Kulik.
And if you're enjoying the racing, please remember to like and subscribe.
A brilliant maneuver from GALAXYSUPERSTAR, who has just moved up the field.
That's what we like to see. GALAXYSUPERSTAR is really showing their class today.
The pursuit is on. Kulik is closing the gap on GALAXYSUPERSTAR, determined to claim P9. Fantastic move from Kulik, who has just gained a position. The intensity is off the charts as GALAXYSUPERSTAR hounds Kulik, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. Oh my, Patrick Goldbach is hot on the tail of Octavio 67. As they come into Sopravada Nord, I'm sure they may have a cheeky peek up the inside.
You can feel the intensity in the air. The slightest mistake could cost either of them valuable time, and the position.
Octavio 67 wants to get into Patrick Goldbach's slipstream.
I might have said this before, but dog.
Breaking update. Looks like Antonio Tridi is coming into the pits early. Now is that to serve a penalty or have they picked up some damage during the start?
Well, races can be won or lost in the pits, but in this case it's all bad news for Antonio Tridi. It's going to be tough to come back from.
We got a close battle as Patrick Goldbach closes in on Octavio 67. No room for error here. Kulik is breathing down the neck of GALAXYSUPERSTAR, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. Impressive stuff from a breaking update. Looks like Antonio Tridi is coming into the pits early. Now is that to serve a penalty or have they picked up some damage during the start?
Well, races can be won or lost in the pits, but in this case it's all bad news for Antonio Tridi. It's going to be tough to come back from.
This is what racing is all about, folks. 3 fearless drivers pushing their machines to the absolute limit, inches apart.
You said it, Hal. The different lines they're taking demonstrate their strategic thinking. It's fascinating to see how they adapt their approaches to gain an advantage.
The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this. What a move. Costo has moved up to 6th.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
Heartbreak for Costo as they slip down the field. This is a thrilling battle as Kulik edges closer to Patrick Goldbach in their fight for P8. It's like watching 2 predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce.
Should things go south between Costo and Octavio 67, we might witness a high-speed game of bumper cars, but trust me, it's way less fun with real race cars.
Things are heating up as Octavio 67 closes in on Costo. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit. An impressive showing from Patrick Goldbach, who has gained positions and left Kulik in the dust.
Yes, but they have to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. Patrick Goldbach needs to stay focused and keep driving with skill and determination.
It's a game of inches now as Kulik tails Patrick Goldbach closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake.
If things go wrong between Kulik and Patrick Goldbach, they could be exchanging more than just paint, like maybe a strongly worded post-race chat.
Oh, this is getting intense. Patrick Goldbach is just behind Kulik. And Patrick Goldbach has just won the place from Kulik.
Absolutely. Patrick Goldbach is showing great pace and determination, but they can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
A setback for Patrick Goldbach, who has just been passed.
That's got to be frustrating, but Patrick Goldbach is a skilled driver, and they have what it takes to battle their way back up the field.
The gap between Kulik and Galaxysuperstar is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Kulik to even allow Galaxy Superstar to get a look in. Robbie is running third. They are trying to catch Malero.
This is where every inch counts. Robbie is pushing hard to close the gap on Malero. Absolutely. Precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
The race is heating up as Costo in 7th closes in on Octavio 67. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
Absolutely. Costo in 7th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
The adrenaline is pumping as Robbie gets within striking distance of Malero in their race for second.
You know what they say, keep your friends close, and your racing rivals even closer. Looks like Robbie is taking that advice to heart today.
It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Robbie gaining places and Malero losing them.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Robbie needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
As we enjoy seeing these titans of the track battle it out, let's not forget about the pit crews. Those guys and girls are like a well-oiled machine themselves.
Absolutely. They're the unsung heroes of the racing world. But you know what they say, behind every great driver is an even greater pit crew.
Seems like Malero is getting in range of Robbie. It looks like Ben is pushing hard to catch up to Nick Hill. That's not a small gap, but Ben has what it takes to challenge for the position.
It's going to be tough for Benjamin Nash, as Nick Hill seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen last name pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
It looks like Malero is all over Robbie. I think they are going to press them through Curva Grande and try and press for a mistake.
For sure, Hal. That's exactly what I would be doing here, as Robbie is going to be aware of them riding their bumper.
I'm curious, Ada, can you tell us about any pre-race rituals you had when you were racing?
Of course, Hal. Before every race, I would listen to a specific playlist of songs to help me get in the zone. I also had a lucky pair of socks that I would wear during races. It may sound silly, but those little rituals help.
Hold that thought. Hold the phone. That won't be ideal for Galaxysuperstar. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Galaxysuperstar, who is currently in P10. But Patrick Goldbach is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Galaxysuperstar. The delta between Malero in third and Robbie remains over a second, but Malero is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 9 minutes left in this session to make that happen. The tension is building as Ben trails behind Nick Hill. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Nick Hill is pushing to maintain the lead, while Benjamin Nash is working to close in and challenge for the position.
Indeed, the anticipation is high as Nash tries to reel in Nick Hill. But Nick Hill is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Nash needs to find a little extra speed to bring the fight to Nick Hill and move up the field.
Big gains for Benjamin Nash as they move up the field, leaving Nick Hill behind. It's a close race between Nick Hill and Benjamin in fourth.
That's right. Nick Hill is determined to pass Benjamin Nash and secure a higher position.
Nick Hill is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 0.43 seconds down. Well, it doesn't look like Malero is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Robbie.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Malero is going to have to get more serious with practice if they don't want to be outclassed on the circuit.
It's a battle of wills out there, each driver trying to outsmart and outmaneuver the other. Great driving from Nash, who has just gained a place and moved up to fourth. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Nick Hill will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
That's right. Nick Hill in fifth knows they have to push to the limit if they want to catch up. But Benjamin Nash is no slouch, and they're going to be pushing just as hard. It's a battle of skill and will out there.
This is what separates the best from the rest. These drivers are demonstrating their racecraft, searching for any weakness to exploit. It's a true test of skill.
Absolutely. How? The energy in the crowd is electric, and it's no wonder why. These drivers are leaving it all on the track, fighting tooth and nail for victory. It's anyone's guess who will come out on top.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Nick Hill trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Benjamin Nash. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. Patrick Goldbach is placed 9th at the moment. Things are starting to get tense as Galaxysuperstar manages to close the gap to Patrick Goldbach. It's now down to 7.3 seconds.
This is where the mental strength of Patrick Goldbach comes into play. They need to stay calm and composed under pressure.
I love being here at Monza 1966 Full Course OSRW. What an awesome place to be witnessing these titans of the track battle it out.
Indeed, Hal, what a magnificent sight and sound. I love listening to the roar of these engines. Let's just listen for a moment.
It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Nick Hill trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Benjamin Nash. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts.
This is where experience comes into play. Benjamin Nash has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but Nick Hill is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
It's looking good for Octavio 67, sitting in 6th.
That's right, they can't afford to make any mistakes or let up in their performance. Every point counts in this championship.
Oh no, Ada, look at this. Costo is closing in on Octavio 67. The gap is now just 2.6 seconds.
This is a real test for Octavio 67. They need to find some extra pace and hold off Costo if they want to win this race.
It looks like Nick Hill is pushing hard to catch up to Benjamin Nash. That's not a small gap, but Nick Hill has what it takes to challenge for the position.
Absolutely. Nick Hill in 5th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
It's a nail-biting showdown between these three drivers. They're nose to tail, pushing their limits in every corner.
Absolutely thrilling, Hal. The level of car control these drivers possess is exceptional. They're towing the line between maximum speed and maintaining control, making for a captivating spectacle.
Look at the way the drivers are hugging those corners, it's like they're on rails.
Speaking of rails, did you know that the first racetrack was built on a railway in 1896? I bet those drivers were chugging along.
All joking aside, I bet they were. Things have come a long way since then, haven't they?
Definitely. It's amazing to think about the technology that goes into these cars now. I mean, they have more computing power than some countries.
Things are going according to plan for Galaxysuperstar, who is currently 10th. It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Nick Hill, who is currently in P5. But Benjamin Nash is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Nick Hill.
It's going to be tough for Nick Hill, as Benjamin Nash seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Nick Hill pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
Things don't seem to be going Costo's way in this race, as that's a big gap they'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
It looks like we might get a battle between Costo and Octavio 67. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Nick Hill in 5th chases after Benjamin Nash. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Nick Hill needs to find a way to close the gap. Nick Hill is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Benjamin Nash to 0.4 seconds.
He'll be looking for a mistake to pounce on.
It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Malero as they have a big gap ahead of them to close at this point in time. Nick Hill is giving it their all as they chase down Benjamin in P4. It seems like Nick Hill is struggling. Their last lap time was a bit off the pace of Ben.
Hopefully Nick Hill can find some of that time they're losing and get it back.
The gap between Octavio 67 and Costo is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Octavio 67 to even allow first name to get a look in.
They certainly aren't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from Octavio 67.
It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
If this battle ends in tears, it could be like watching a high-speed domino effect. But let's hope they keep it clean and avoid any unplanned games.
Adam Keefe is on fire in the last. What a win! This is a historic moment for Adam Keefe, who put on a masterclass in driving today. What a display of skill and precision.
What a display of skill and precision.
Some might say that second place is the first loser, but Robbie certainly doesn't see it that way. They put in a phenomenal effort and should be proud of their impressive result.
Brilliant. Robbie showed great skill and determination to take second place.
Impressive drive from Malero to claim the final spot on the podium. Nick Hill, Benjamin Nash, Octavio 67, and Costo end in 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. In 8th, 9th, and 12th, it's Kulik, Patrick Goldbach, and Merlane. Coming in 10th we have Galaxysuperstar. Yeger Strensky in 11th.